With the whole world watching, we have just witnessed a biological woman, also known as just a woman, in a fight with a boxer who was not allowed to compete against women last year because it's a man, to a weak-kneed International Olympic Committee that allowed this to happen. Listen to how the IOC explained its decision just a few days ago.
They are women in their passports, and it's stated that is the case, that they are female. They're competing in the women's category. Again, I don't want to mention their names or whatever, but these athletes have competed many times before for many years.
And were also banned, which you now refuse to acknowledge as you let them play in the Olympics. It remains to be seen how NBC News, the broadcast network of the Games here in America, will cover this here at home, since they are as woke and pro-trans, quote, rights as humanly possible.
Now, who on planet Earth think this was fair? No. Who think it's fair for a man to beat up a woman like this?
This male boxer destroyed a female boxer in 46 seconds, and the world was set on fire. But I'm going to tell you why I think the outrage may be wrong. This is Imane Khelif, born as a woman in Algeria. Algeria doesn't play the gender game. For example, some countries allow you to place whatever sex you identify with on your passport. But in Algeria, they don't play that game. Your passport reflects the sex you were born with at birth. Full stop, no questions asked. Matter of fact, it's illegal to be trans in Algeria since 1966. It carries a 3-year prison sentence. So if Khelif was trans, she would be doing a 3-year stint in jail and not representing Algeria in the Olympics. So what's going on here? Well, Khelif was born with a vagina and all female sex organs. I think I need to say that again. Khelif was born with a vagina and all female sex organs. And she has lived as a woman her whole life. Now, you would think Khelif has XX chromosomes to match, but you would be wrong. Khelif actually has XY chromosomes, meaning that Khelif is biologically a man born with female sex organs. How is this possible? Well, let me explain. Now, on this channel, I've said many times that biological men should not compete with biological women in sports because men have an unfair advantage. My most viewed video is on how a trans woman / biological male won the women's weightlifting contest in Canada. And because the rules allowed them to compete based on how they felt that day. So if they came in feeling like a woman, they could participate as a woman. So a biological male then played the same game and claimed to be a woman just for that event. He broke all the women's records, specifically all the trans women's records, and then went away. Now, and when asked, he said he is gender non-conforming.
This is the way the world is now. My 8-year-old daughter told me all about it.
So a guy can become a girl with no physical changes at all.
Oh, that's called gender fluid.
So I can be a woman on the court and a man in the bedroom. I can't believe it. Nice!
You mean when you're sleeping?
Yes.
This also happened with Lia Thomas, this man who decided to identify as a woman and broke the NCAA women's record in the swimming pool.
University of Pennsylvania swimmer Lia Thomas taking first place in the NCAA 500-yard freestyle. She is the first transgender athlete to be crowned NCAA champion, but not without controversy because critics say she has an unfair physical advantage over the other swimmers and should not have been allowed to compete. Now, second place went to University of Virginia swimmer Emma Wyant, who won a silver medal in last year's Tokyo Olympics. She's getting an outpouring of support on social media, with some calling her the true winner. And we saw, Lauren, at that medal ceremony, the crowd was virtually silent when Lia Thomas was announced the winner, the first place winner, and yet they went crazy cheering for the second place.
Now with Lia, she was ranked 65th on the men's team and then woke up one day, decided to join the women's team, and now was ranked number 1 in the country. This is totally unfair. Now you may say, why is that? Well, we segregate or separate men from women in sports because we know men have an undeniable physical advantage over women when it comes to sports, especially at the... Now, you always use the example of FloJo. She set the 100-meter world record in 1986 in track and field. Her record has stood for almost 40 years. No woman has even come close to touching her record. But her time is beaten every year by high school boys. High school boys. The fastest woman ever to do it in the 100-meter track and field event would not be able to beat teenage boys at a high school track meet. Now, I know some people will not like to hear this truth, but God will set you free because it is the absolute truth, the reality of the situation. Now, we get to what makes this situation with Khelif complicated. See, in the other examples like Leah Thompson, she was born a man. She went through male puberty. She competed as a man. Now, before puberty, boys and girls are about equal when it comes to physical ability. There's almost no physical difference in strength, endurance, or speed between the sexes. But after puberty, men get a huge advantage because of testosterone. Men with XY chromosomes begin producing large amounts of testosterone, which is responsible for increased muscle growth and all these physical advantages. Now, women, on the other hand, who have XX chromosomes produce a large amount of estrogen that does not give them these same physical advantages. Now, because of this, the governing body of sports banned any person who went through male puberty, remember specifically male puberty, from competing in women's sports. Here's what they had to say.
This morning, the international governing body over track and field announcing a ban that prevents transgender athletes from participating in female events after going through male puberty.
World Athletics has done something that loads of people have been calling for them to do for a very long time. It's banned trans women from being able to compete in female categories. Lord Coe, who's the governing body's president, said no transgender athlete who had gone through male puberty should be allowed in female world ranking competitions.
Transgender athletes will now be banned from competing in female track and field events at an elite level. The move by World Athletics comes months after the International Swimming Authority made a similar ruling.
Now remember, the rule prevents people who went through male puberty from competing in female sports because that's when you get the advantages. So what does this have to do with Imane Khelif? Well, Khelif was born with a vagina, ovaries, eggs, and all female reproductive parts. But she has XY chromosomes. I know, this is confusing at first glance, but please bear with me. There is a condition that occurs where some people are born with XY chromosomes but produce very little to almost no testosterone, sometimes even less than women with XX chromosomes. This is called Swyer syndrome.
I was shocked to find out that there was actually a diagnosis. I found out I had Swyer syndrome.
A patient with Swyer syndrome has 46XY, so normal male chromosomes. But because the testes never developed, they never develop into a male.
I really became angry because I could not fathom why the doctors would not tell me. It just made me feel very violated. This was like major life-changing information. I know I'm a woman, but how could I possibly be born with male chromosomes?
Now, this is when a person with XY chromosomes develops as a female with all the female parts and traits, including sex organs. This is because the gene that produces male traits, testosterone, is suppressed, causing people with XY chromosomes to develop naturally as females. Now, some TV dramas like the show House have done episodes about this condition.
We found a tumor.
She has cancer?
Technically, no.
So it's not cancer?
No, it's cancer, but he has cancer. On his left testicle.
I don't have testicles.
She's not a guy.
His DNA says you're wrong. Frogs and snails and puppy dog tails. You've got male pseudo-hermaphroditism. See, we all start out as girls, and then we're differentiated based on our genes. The ovaries develop into testes and drop. But in about 1 in 150,000 pregnancies, a fetus with an XY chromosome, a boy, develops into something else. Like you. Your testes never descended because you're immune to testosterone. You're pure estrogen, which is why you get heightened female characteristics, like clear skin, great breasts. The ultimate woman is a man.
So even though Khelif has XY chromosomes, she didn't go through male puberty and has all the internal organs as a woman. She didn't transition from male to female. She was born with female sex organs. So when the governing body of boxing began testing for chromosomes, they found that Imane Khelif had XY chromosomes and banned her. Now, this was overturned because having XY chromosomes didn't mean that a person had an unfair advantage over women. Matter of fact, Khelif has actually lost 9 fights to other women. So when Khelif won her match at the Olympics, people found out that she had an XY chromosome, and they assumed she went through male puberty and had all the physical advantages over an XX female. But in reality, she didn't. Now, J.K. Rowling, Elon Musk, and a host of other personalities jumped on the hate train with the assumption that Khelif was trans, transitioning from male to female. But if they took 1 second to look beyond the surface, they would see that this was not the case. So let me answer a couple of questions for you. Number 1, is Imane Khelif trans? Well, let's compare it to Leah Thomas. They both have XY chromosomes, but Leah Thomas was born with male sex organs, where Khelif was born with female sex organs. Thomas went through male puberty, and Khelif went through female puberty. Thomas still has her sex organs, her male sex organs, where Khelif has female sex organs and always has had female sex organs. So is Imane Khelif trans? No, she didn't transition from male to female. She's always been female. This is why the Olympics said this.
What do you say to the female athletes who are competing, who are very concerned that they will get in the ring against athletes who are so powerful and they feel that they have an unfair advantage because of their high testosterone levels?
I think what I would say at this stage is that, as I said before, these athletes, boxers, are entirely eligible. They are women on their passport. They have competed for many years, and I actually think it's not helpful to start stigmatizing people who take part in sport like this. But they are women. They competed in Tokyo. I think we all have a responsibility, by the way, to try to dial down this and not turn it into some kind of witch hunt. These are regular athletes who've competed for many years in boxing. They're entirely eligible. They are women on their passports. And that, I think, is enough said from me. So thank you very much.
Now, I believe because of medical privacy laws, this prevents the Olympic Committee from just saying outright that this person was born with female sex organs. So Khelif is definitely not trans. That's why they keep saying this person is not trans. Matter of fact, most people with this condition don't even know they have it until later in life. Now, this could also occur in the opposite way, where people with XX chromosomes are physically men and go through male puberty. So this begs the question, what is a woman? Is it just having XX chromosomes, or is it your sex organs that determines it? Remember, Khelif was born with all female sex organs and all female parts. Now, some are saying that Khelif had an elevated level of testosterone, but that happens with both women with XX chromosomes and women with XY chromosomes. Also, sometimes women with XY chromosomes have less testosterone than women with XX chromosomes. Now, just to be clear, Khelif did not transition into anything. This is misinformation about the incident, which is kind of crazy. So, what do you think? Should Khelif be banned from competition? She literally is a woman in every single way, except her chromosomes are wrong. Now, the left is going to say it's transphobia, the fear of trans people, even though they were born women with all women parts. Here's what they're saying.
Folks like J.K. Rowling criticizing the match in the days leading up to it, and then after it happened, sharing a pic of Karini crying and saying, "Could any picture sum up our new men's right movement better?" The smirk of a male who knows he's protected by a misogynist sporting establishment, enjoying the distress of a woman he's just punched in the head. Logan Paul also taking to Twitter and describing it as the purest form of evil unfolding right before your eyes. With that, saying a man was allowed to beat up a woman on a global stage, crushing her life's dream while fighting for her deceased father. Elon Musk responding to a post saying men don't belong in women's sports with absolute absolutely. And similarly, resharing a post with a clip of the Punch saying, Kamala Harris supports this, vote accordingly. But then with all that, you've also seen a lot of people saying, those people are just sharing misinformation.
So my message to you, is Khelif a woman or a man? Should she be able to compete in the Olympics? What about the millions of other people who have this condition and don't even know it? Let me know how you feel in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.